So next up, I want to talk about 3 different scroll methods that are available to us in JavaScript. Ways that we can make the page jump around to different points. If you want to go back to the top or go to the bottom or jump to a specific spot on the page, there's a few different ways we can do this. So element.scrollTo, element.scrollBy, and there's another one which is element scrollIntoView. So these are 3 different ways that we can make the page jump around. scrollTo takes an X and a Y point. Where do you want to scroll to? What X and Y coordinates on the page do you want to get to? That X and Y coordinate is going to become the top left corner of the page. So if I picked a point right here, I could make this point move to here. Now, scrollBy, that would be, where do I want to go to? So I want to move in the X direction by so many pixels, and I want to move in the Y direction by so many pixels. And this can be a positive or a negative number, up or down. Now, obviously, if I'm already at the top corner, I can't pull this down any further, but beyond that, you can jump around to any point on the page. The last one, scrollIntoView, you provide an element right here. So this is some HTML element, and you say, I want to bring that element onto view. So whatever it is, it could be the header on the page, it can be a specific advertisement, it could be a piece of code that you've got posted on the page somewhere, but you want to move that piece of content onto the page. We can call this method, and there's a few different ways we can do it. We can specify just the method itself. That will automatically take the element and move it up to the top left corner. So the top left corner of the element will be the top left corner of the screen. You can specify here, sorry, I keep clicking on that. You can specify true or false to say whether or not it is the top corner of the element that you want to align. If you say true, that is the default. If you say false, then it's just going to bring it onto the screen. And it's up to the browser where it's going to align it. Now, there is a third option, but we have to keep in mind that this other option with an options object here is not supported in IE, Edge, or Safari. Now, we can specify 3 properties. The first one, behavior is auto or smooth. The difference is auto is going to jump immediately, so it's like an instantaneous change. Smooth, the browser is going to let the user see the content scrolling by, so they see where you're going on the page. The other 2 properties, block and inline, have to do with the vertical alignment and the horizontal alignment. So block. Now, this is if your content is going top to bottom on the page. Block has to do with the vertical alignment. So if you're dealing with display flex, you know that you can change the orientation if you're doing the flex display, flex direction rather, in a horizontal or a vertical way, as a row or a column. That will change what these 2 properties are going to do, the block and inline. But the possible values for both of these are start, center, end, or nearest. So start, align the top of the block to the top of the page. End, align the bottom of the block to the bottom of the page. Center, align the center of the block to the center of the page. And nearest, well, whichever edge is closest to whichever part of the screen. And then back up here, this other options object, this is something that is an alternate syntax for scrollTo and scrollBy. Instead of just providing the numbers, you can pass in this options object where you specify top, left, and behavior being, again, auto or smooth. But again, the problem is it's not supported by IE, Edge, or Safari. So I don't recommend doing this options object. Same way with this, I don't recommend doing this just because of the limited support currently. But scrollIntoView true, that works just great. Now, to see this in action, my code sample page here, and the link to this is in the description down below if you want a copy of it. So I'm linking to the 3 sections, one that has the code for scrollTo, one for the code for scrollBy, and one for scrollIntoView, those 3 sections. And I've got a click event on all of them. For the top one, the very top one, I'm using the method scrollTo, and I'm saying for the 0, so I'm not going to move to anywhere horizontally, but vertically, I want to go 250 pixels up. So my page is going to move. When I click on this, it jumps up quickly. You can see it's moving up 250 pixels. Just an immediate jump. There's no scrolling, it's just an immediate change. Scroll by, I'm going to do negative 250, so I'm going to pull it back down. This is the second element. So if I click in here, it brings me back to the top. So I'm just going back and forth at 250 pixels up and down. And the last one down here, if you click in this area, I'm jumping back up right here. I'm saying this element, scroll into view. And that element is the middle one, the scroll by. So when I click on the scroll into view section, the green section, that is going to jump and show the scroll by section with its top. Here it is. The top of this section is aligned. So the brown one, when I click on the green, the brown one is aligned, its top edge is aligned to the top of the screen. Now, one other thing to note here, while all three methods say element and then the method, when you're doing scroll to and scroll by, what you're doing is you're talking about the entire page as a whole. So the element that you want to actually scroll is going to be the document. So document.document element. This is the HTML container for everything on the page. That's what we're moving. If I was to use the to element here, nothing would happen. So we refresh our page. I come up here and I click on this one. Absolutely nothing is happening. It's not moving anywhere because I can't scroll that container. It's not inside of a scrollable area. What I can scroll is the document element. That's the page that I'm on right now. So I save that. I come back, make sure it's refreshed. When I click on this, the page can move 250 pixels. So this little element itself couldn't go anywhere, but the page can. So although it is a method that belongs to the element, it's the document element typically that you're going to be doing the scroll to on and the scroll by. With scroll into view, you really are talking about some piece of content somewhere on the page. We're bringing that element up into view. All right, so like I said, the code sample for this is down in the description. Feel free to grab a copy of it. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave those in the comments down below. And as always, thanks for watching.